podcast. In this under 10-minute video, you're going to be getting all the information you need in order to go about your day full knowing that you have an understanding of everything going on in the automotive space as of today. And the first thing we're going to get to is this. Absolute pettiness from Mercedes, but it might actually be justified. What you're looking at is a social media post where Mercedes congratulates Porsche on taking the production car record at the Nordschleifer. Porsche did that last week with a 991 GT2 RS that had a host of Manti Racing parts that you can now acquire for your Porsche through Porsche Tech Equipment. Mercedes says, quote, "Fair competition has always inspired us. Congrats on the belter of a lap on the Nordschleifer, Porsche. Even though it took an additional performance kit to beat the record time set by our series production Mercedes AMG GT Black Series." Now, that is absolutely hilarious because that is Mercedes calling out the obvious, which is the fact that it took additional performance parts in order for Porsche to reclaim that record. And the AMG GT Black right here that set that record is something you can get off the shelf. Now, an interesting thing that has been denoted by some Mercedes fans is the fact that even though you can order a 911 GT2 with those parts that set the overall record, you can't anymore, right? The 991 GT2 RS isn't being produced anymore. So it's not as if you can order a brand new vehicle with those parts. You would just outfit them to your existing 911 GT2. So maybe it should actually just be that this car has the fastest record around the Nordschleifer, not production car, because it's not in production anymore. So I get your point, Mercedes. I hear you. Now, the second piece of news is coming by way of Honda. And Honda is previewing the prologue, which is an interesting sentence to say in and of itself. But Honda and GM have teamed up to produce 2 electric SUVs in the next 3 to 5 years. And this is the name of the first one, the Honda Prologue. And while it's still 3 years away from dealerships and driveways, we at the very least know what it will be called. Now, Honda also said that the second vehicle that they're developing is going to be an Acura SUV. So there's going to be one Honda and one Acura, one more Spartan trim, one more luxury. So it'll be interesting to see how GM uses those 2 vehicles. Is GM going to make one of them a Chevrolet and then the other one a Cadillac? Or are both of them going to be Chevrolets? One's a GMC, etc., etc. We don't know about that side of the coin, but we know for Honda, one of them is going to be a Honda, one of them is going to be an Acura. Now, the next bit of news that we're talking about comes by way of Germany. What you guys are looking at right here is the Elegend El1. Now, this thing is inspired by the 80s Group B Audi Quattros that raced in Rally, which were dynamic. If you guys haven't seen that, just type in Group B on YouTube and fall down the rabbit hole of tremendous noise, crazy speed, and wild arrow that was the 80s rally cars. This thing, unlike the Audi for which it is inspired, isn't an inline 5. It is electric. It has 3 motors, and it leverages the Porsche Taycan battery pack, which means it's a 90 kilowatt hour battery pack capable of 800 volt fast charging. Now, this Elegend El1 can do 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds and has a range of 248 miles. Elegend says they will be producing 30 of these, and each of them will cost $1.2 million. Now, just based on their name alone, I'm excited to see what comes next. If they're paying homage to the Audi Your Quattro, maybe the E30 is next. Or maybe something else that is just absolutely iconic will be next for the brand. And I think they did the design justice. This clearly is an Audi Quattro, but modernized. It looks lovely. Speaking of something that's not lovely, but just crazy, it's this. Now, I'm going to let these pictures flow for a little bit before we get into the details because we got some time. We turned through those in under 5 minutes. So you guys have a little bit of time to just sit back and enjoy the photos. This thing is crazy. Yeah, the price for that E-Legend is just bonkers, $1.2 million. But Hopefully they come out with some cheaper ones in the future. So what you guys are looking at in this photo is the Aston Martin AMR Pro. And if you remember last week when we talked about the leaked images of this vehicle, I claimed that this was the hypercar entrant for Aston Martin, and I was dead on. Even though Aston Martin introduced a Valkyrie AMR Pro 2 years ago, they didn't finalize that design. And in fact, when Aston Martin scrapped their hypercar program, they just made the hypercar they would have used in racing their AMR Pro. So what we're looking at here is the car that Aston Martin would have entered in the hypercar class to compete against the Toyota, the Peugeot, and all the other vehicles for the overall win at Le Mans. And guys, it is crazy. This car leverages an extensively modified carbon fiber chassis over its road-going Valkyrie counterpart. Its wheelbase has grown by 14 inches. The front track has grown by 3.7 inches, and the rear is wider by 4.5 inches. The aerodynamic package overall makes this thing 10 inches longer than the original Aston Martin Valkyrie for which it is based. Now, Aston Martin says this AMR Pro comfortably produces more than twice the downforce of the Valkyrie road car, which is crazy because the Valkyrie road car produces immense amounts of downforce as it is. Good morning, good morning. This thing can achieve a lateral acceleration, guys, of 3G. To put that in perspective, a Lotus Elise, which is arguably one of the best cars in cornering, right? At least top 10. That car can achieve a lateral acceleration of around 1G. So this thing triples that. Powering this vehicle is a 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12. Gone is the hybrid bull that is in the road-going Valkyrie. And they're just using the 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12, but that V12 just isn't any V12. It's a 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12 that revs to 11,000 RPM. 11,000 RPM, and it pumps out 1,000 horsepower. This thing comes to play. Now, Tobias Moyer, who is the Aston Martin chief executive, said in a statement, as an expression of the passion and expertise that can be found in the Aston Martin and its closest technical partners, the AMR Pro is a project beyond compare, a true no-rules track-only version. The Valkyrie AMR Pro is a testament to Aston Martin's commitment to pure performance, and this performance DNA will be evident in our future product portfolio. Nothing else looks like it, nothing else sounds like it, and I'm absolutely certain nothing else drives like it. Now, in the chat, someone asked if we have a sound clip of it. We do. Well, we don't have a sound clip of it, per se. We have a sound clip of the Aston Martin's engine on an engine dyno. And that engine dyno sounds terrific. And what better way to end than with the Aston Martin Valkyrie engine sound? Now, the fine folks at Top Gear had insight into the process. They were allowed to go to the Cosworth factory and watch it on the engine dyno. So we'll do the same thing. So what you're looking at is the Aston Martin Valkyrie's engine. This is the V12 engine that was developed by Cosworth, 6.5-liter, revs to 11,000, and was an all Cosworth thing. This isn't a V12 based on anything else. This is all new for this car specifically. It is a gorgeous engine. Gorgeous engine. So let's get into the noise, because you already know these videos have a lot of hullabaloo before we get to the actual action. So they hook this engine up to a dyno and they let it rip. So let's take a listen. So they're simulating as if the car is driving the Silverstone race circuit. So it's going to have the acceleration, the deceleration, etc., etc.
So here goes.
Let's hear it. Press that go button. Wow, this Top Gear host. Oh. Sounds pretty insane, guys. Literally sounds like a Formula One car from the early 2000s. And the thing that you have to remember is this is it on an engine dyno, okay? And this is the street car version, all right? We're not even looking at what the AMR Pro is, which is a track-only variant of the Aston Martin Valkyrie. So I could not be more excited. This thing is going to be batshit crazy, and I live for it. And with that, guys, in just about 10 minutes, you got all the information you need to seize the day, full knowing that you know everything there is to know about the automotive industry. You are up to date, and that's what we do here on the Money Shift in the Morning program. I am Thanasi, and if you guys enjoyed the content today, do not forget to hit that subscribe button on YouTube or that follow button on Facebook. We are almost at 1,600 followers on Facebook and almost 300 plus subscribers on YouTube, so I am super appreciative of that. Thank you so much, everybody. Actually, we're over that 300 mark on YouTube. That is sick. That's really, really cool. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. I will see you all bright and early tomorrow. Good.